Welcome to Home Brew by J.W. Martin Real Estate, where we uncover the true stories of what's brewing in South Carolina's local business scene. I'm Joey Martin, and each week we sit down with the ones who are pushing through the grind. Business owners, creators, and community leaders who have fought through the tough times and come out stronger. No fluff, just real stories, smart insights, and a whole lot of lessons learned the hard way. Let's dive in. Really excited about today's guest. He's internationally recognized as a leadership coach, also a keynote speaker, an author. He is the executive director of Global Empowerment Institute. Welcome to the show, Mr. Alvin Day. Welcome, Alvin.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much. I am delighted to be here.
Fantastic. I'll tell you what, man, I'm looking at your resume of companies that you've worked with, and quite impressive. I mean, you Colgate, Campbell's, Valvoline, National Commercial Bank, the Central Bank of Jamaica, Pepsi, Nestlé. What a resume of companies that you've worked with. Let's dive in and talk a little bit about your company and Global Empowerment Institute. Let's talk about what you guys do.
Yes, we are a coaching and leadership company, and we work with corporations to help them empower the people who produce the profit. So said another way, many companies start out thinking that we have great products, and they need to have great products, but it's becoming clear to corporations now that it's not just the products that make profit, because great products have died if they've not had people with the leadership skills and the emotional engagement to be part of it and to give their whole energy to it. And so where youngsters go to school to learn technical skills and they go to HR training programs on how to do their jobs, our role is to ignite passion in them and to help them to desire deeply for excellence, not to please their boss, but to please themselves, to feel fulfilled. And so we teach them principles that are not taught in schools about purpose and clarity and who they are and the value of creating something that's worthwhile to others. So in a nutshell, we teach leadership, we teach staff engagement, but importantly, we deal with what's on the inside of people that pushes them to go forward and basically conquer more and more territories every day.
Wow, that's a very unique perspective. I don't think I've seen anyone take that approach. That's very unique. How did you come up with or create this institute, and how'd you, I guess was it from previous experience in the corporate world that you had that you realized there was something missing?
Yes, I didn't sit and develop a business plan and say, we're going to create the Global Empowerment Institute as it is today. Working in China, working in Thailand, working across Europe and Asia and the Caribbean and South America. I never did. I had imagination, but I didn't know what the actual manifestation would be. Here's a story. I was working at Procter Gamble. I got into Procter Gamble out of school, worked there for 10 years. And we were selling a house in Ohio to move to another place with a promotion that I got. And as a realtor was going around the house, looking at the paint and the structure and so forth, she had parked her car in my driveway. And every time I walked past the car and heard something playing, she left the engine on. And I went, what? Interesting. And about the third time around, I said to her, what is that? She said, oh, don't worry about it. It's just a personal development course I'm listening to. Now, this was back a couple of decades ago. And I said, what? A personal development course? I never heard of it.
Right.
And I got so fascinated. The little that I was hearing coming out of her car, I thought, let's go look this thing up. Now, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I've gone to school. I've gotten a couple of college degrees, and I learned technical skills about marketing and sales and business, my business degrees and so forth. I'd never heard of personal development courses. And it started me on a path to begin to look at myself, to look at the world, to understand inspiration and motivation and how to deal with adversity and clarity of my purpose and my vision. And it was at that point that my mind went, because previously it was just the technical skills, and it changed my life, essentially changed my life. And I was thinking bigger than Procter Gamble at the time.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the start of it, essentially.
Wow. That's a really great story, because for me, been very fortunate from the start of my real estate career to when I eventually opened my own brokerage. in 2011, I was surrounded by people who were huge on personal development. And it was something that was always ingrained in me. And so I'm obsessed with it myself to where I'm just constantly listening to in my car. I occasionally listen to music, of course, but for the most part, while I'm in my car, I'm listening to some type of personal development. And it's a lot more readily available these days than it ever has been. But
That's right.
that's a really cool story as to how that you really found your passion to get involved in it. Where did it go from there?
Well, what's interesting is that the concepts were not new to me. I never realized that they were like a set of principles for success. When I was growing up in fairly poor circumstances, economically, socioeconomically, I was being taught that I was special. I was being taught that the future was bright. I was being taught that I needed to be persistent and consistent and I needed to push through pain. But then I grew up and got educated and I kind of minimize those things, all to realize that education is worthless if you don't have those things of persistence and the clarity and focus. So from that point, I began to realize the things that my grandmother was teaching me are actually really important. And I began to study Earl Nightingale and Tony Robbins and people like that. And it lit such a fire in me that I realized, no, I cannot stay here working for 40 years until I retire. And I always wanted to suggest new things to my boss and tell my company it needs to be going in a different direction. But how do you move Procter Gamble? It's a
Right.
40, $60 billion giant. Well, what if I started my own? I thought to myself, I'm working until after midnight. What if I put the same effort into my own business? I was scared stiff because I thought, what if I can't feed my family? I had friends who were advising me not to do it. But I kept thinking, if I put the same effort into my corporate job, if I put the same effort that I put in my corporate job into my own, I wonder if I could make my income in 3 months. Here.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, one of the principles I am learning is that what we speak and what we think becomes us. Because the first time I quit my job, I quit in March, which means I had only 9 months of the year to go. I made 4 times my income that year,
Wow.
which means every 3 months I had the salary that I was making. I thought, you've got to be kidding. And so I never looked back. I kept working with corporations. The first contract I signed was with SC Johnson,
Okay.
and they paid me more than my annual salary to work with them for 4 days a month.
Wow.
I still had 16 days out of 20. This could work.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's where it went from.
Wow. But it also, if you go to that company in order to continue growth, you have to have an impact. Obviously, you must be doing something right when you're getting in front of these folks. So the lessons you're teaching have to be super impactful. And you got me super curious now to hear some of the lessons that you're teaching.
The lessons they're not MBA and PhD lessons.
Right.
The irony of it all is much of it is basic human logic. A friend of mine says that common sense is not that common.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I will walk into a corporation. I have a curriculum of 2 years worth of leadership competencies, typically not taught in schools. And I will go and see them once a month and teach them in a group and coach them one-on-one on things like communication skills, spoken, written, body language skills, how to communicate care and trust, how to have empathy, how to be decent when you write to people, when you speak to people and so forth, how to deal with adversity and challenges. And what I've come to find is that in order for a human being to live up to his or her highest ideals, yeah, you need academics, you need typical training, but you can't do it alone.
Right.
At least you need customers, right? And you have to manage your customers. And you need suppliers and you manage your supplier. So because you can't do it alone, you also cannot do it unless you know how to relate to people. So I'm sharing with my clients people skills and personal beliefs and so forth. Now, I'm working in a corporation. Actually, it was a central bank. The governor of the central bank gave me all the deputy governors and the directors and so forth to coach. I've been working with them for 6 years. And at the very top of the organization, near the top, there's a young man who, brilliant, great economist. But as I began to coach him one-on-one, I learned that he had difficulties with his employees. He doesn't understand why they don't want to do the work, and why when they make mistakes, they don't want to own up to it. And I said, look, I want you to try something. The next time you get in a conflict with one of your employees or your employee does something wrong, I want you to be really humble and take the blame. I say, look, I know this didn't go right, but it's my fault. I'm your manager. I should have made this more clear. I should have assisted you. I should have done that. He walked out of that place going, Alvin, I'm not sure that makes any sense. Think about, wow, I'm striking out here.
Yeah.
After a couple of sessions, he took the opportunity. He went to the government to deliver a presentation. He went wrong. And he said, I got my people in a room and I was going to ream them. He said, this was not tolerable. And he said, then I remembered what you said. And I began to take the blame for it. And the most remarkable thing happened that I did not expect. He said, I'm still swirling from this. When I started telling them it was my fault, I should have given them more time. I should have been there with them. He said, no, boss, it's our fault. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. We didn't do the following. And I said, I never would have expected that. Here's one of the principles. Somebody taught me that what you do not resist cannot resist you.
Okay.
If you push on something that's sliding back, it's not resisting you, so you don't have any problems.
Correct.
But if you go against the wall and you push on the wall, it'll push back at you. You punch it, it'll put you back.
Absolutely.
And so there's a strategy that I've developed called the vulnerability strategy. The vulnerability strategy robs people of the pleasure of opposing you. Now think about this for a moment. Okay, a policeman pulls me over and says, you were breaking the speed limit and you were trying to overtake in a place where the line is solid. I've got a couple tickets to give you. Let me have your license plate, please. Your driver's license, please.
Yeah.
And I sit back and I'm fishing for my driver's license. I said, officer, you're right. You're exactly right. It's my fault. And I'm taking my time. And I said, how fast was I going? My wife told me not to speed. Listen, I have no resistance on. You just do what you have to do. And I'm fishing my driver's license. And I give him my driver's license. And I said, officer, you told me that I have two tickets to get. I said, look, I deserve every single one of them. Throw a book at me because I really need to take care and preserve my life. And he stands there talking to me because when I give him one of these answers, I could see him like twitch. Didn't expect that. And then after talking with him for a while, he said to me, okay, so which one of these tickets should I give you? And I thought, well, we're down 50%. And I said, officer, give me the one that's just the strongest one. I really need a strong reprimand today. Here's what I know. When they go to police school, they're taught how to overcome resistance. They're never taught how to deal with compliance.
Wow.
And it messed up his brain. Like, wait a minute, I'm not doing my job here. I'm not getting any pushback. They taught me how to deal with pushback. So here's something I think will be valuable for entrepreneurs who have to deal with all kinds of forces. I'm doing a session and I bring two strong men to the front of the room. I ask them to put up their hands like this. Right. Then I say, I want you to clasp your hands like this. And they clasp their hands. Now you're A, you're B.
Okay.
When I give you instructions to go, when I count to 3, A, I want you to push against B. I go 1, 2, 3. A goes,
right,
pushes against B. And I say, okay, again, 1, 2, 3. A goes, pushes against B. I said, stop. I said, B, why did you do what I didn't ask you to do? He said, what do you mean? I said, I never told you to push. I told A to push. Why were you pushing? He said, because he was pushing me. I go, yeah, but I didn't tell you to push. I just told you to put your hand here.
right.
So I said, let's do it again. Let's go ahead and do it. A, I want you to push. B, I do not want you to push. Just let your hand be.
Sure.
So I go 1, 2, 3, bam. Okay, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, bam. I come back to A and I say, okay, A, you had 2 experiences. The first one was hard because you got resistance. The second one was easy. Which one did you enjoy more? What do you think A says every single time?
The one without resistance.
One.
Yeah.
No, which one did you enjoy more? He always says the first one. I'm going, are you crazy? Wait a minute. It was hard. You had to put more energy into it. Why would you have enjoyed the one where you had to push back? And he said to me, every time he said to me, because the second time I felt I didn't do it. I didn't achieve anything. It was like too easy. It was like a floppy handshake. I don't go, bingo.
Okay.
This is one of the greatest secrets to human power and influence is that you get satisfaction from pushing back against people. And when you don't have anybody pushing against you, there is no satisfaction. People want resistance. They want a little struggle. So the way to rob people of saying no to you is making it easy for them to say no to you and making yes become the resort. So instead of fighting people, just go, look, you're right. Somebody cusses you and say, you ugly son of a gun, you're a wretched, nasty human being. And you go, look, Randall, if that were the worst thing you could think of me, I'm doing pretty well because, man, I got a lot of faults. If
Right.
I've offended you, man, I'm not up there. Wait a minute. I want you to fight. You're not fighting back. No, man, look, man, you're right. What can I tell you? I shouldn't. And the person who gets, look, if you do not fight, then there is no joy in the conquest of somebody who wants to fight you. Now, I'm not telling you to lose your dignity. I'm not telling you that you need to go into a situation where you're not prepared, but strategically, when you're negotiating, when you want support, when you want people to be on your side, stop resisting so much.
Wow. Man, that is so simple, but yet brilliant. So simple, yet brilliant.
See, what happens in business is we're taught to push, push, push.
Yeah.
And I think of another metaphor in martial arts. You have taekwondo where you hit and you block and you kick, punch. Okay, you can win that way. But there's another martial art called Judo.
Mm-hmm.
Judo is where you use the opponent's force against them. So if you're doing Judo and I come at you, you don't block me. You help me. You pull my sleeve and help me. Once I come at you, if you pull my sleeve, you're using my own momentum to bring me where I'm wanting to go and accelerate me, except this time you put your foot in the way so I tumble over it. Karate is aggressive and pushing. Judo is using your own strength to defeat you. If you want to be really successful in life, figure out what people's biases and needs and preferences are and help them to get it. Let them do their own natural development. Don't fight so much.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's incredible. Wow. But I tell you what, just that little sample right there that you've shared here on this podcast has me intrigued. And I have to compliment you on your ability to tell a story. Yeah, the ability to tell a story and talking with your hands and the voice inflections just perfect. I'm leaning in. I want to hear more. And so, man, that's awesome. Really incredible. And I love the lesson that you taught. And I want to learn. I want more. You leave me here wanting to learn more from you.
Okay, so on that point, I appreciate your sentiment there. But on that point, one of the courses that we offer is public speaking, presentation skills, how to have confidence on camera.
Yeah.
And we teach folks that if you're nervous, you don't try to fix nervousness. Nervousness is energy. You try to use it. And when it comes to body language, never take a course on body language. Our training says, when you stand in front of an audience, you need to begin to experience personally what you're saying to the audience. And when you experience it, your body will tell you how to move. If you come and plan to go like this and to emphasize a point, the timing is never going to be right. It's going to look hokey, right? Unless you're a really good Hollywood actor.
Right.
So the thought is, if you want fulfillment in your life, if you want success, if you want proficiency, you need to be living the thing that you do. Too many people go to work or go to their business just to do it. No, you got to feel it. And when you feel it, messages will be sent from your brain to your body in terms of how you experience it. Too many people are like popping heads and they know they have to say this and so forth. The question is, what is this? Is it important? How do I feel about it? Do I hate it? Okay, fine. Do I love it? Fine. Then feel it. And as you feel it, the right words will come out and I didn't plan to do this. I did not plan to do this. Somehow I won't bring the points together in my subconscious mind because I'm sensing what I'm saying tells me to do this as an illustration. So for us to be engaging to people, we need to relax and stop worrying about what they think about us. We need to get involved in the thing that we are delivering, and it will master you. It will master itself through you. So it's a very different way of looking at life. And it is to live through it, love your job, love the people you work with. And I don't mean romantic thing. Just get engaged in what you do and it'll take care of itself.
Wow, man, I thoroughly enjoy this. So a typical training session with you and a company, what's a typical, is it one session, numerous sessions? Is it ongoing? How does that usually work?
what was usual is different from what is usual. What was usual is I would show up at a company, and I'm still doing it to a lesser degree. I'd show up at a company once a month. I'd get all of their execs in a room. I'd take them through one of these sessions, like public speaking or addressing adversity or communication skills. Then I take them one-on-one and work through their own personal careers and so forth for an hour each. What's happening now is people have been saying to us, can I come to one of your sessions? I'm going, no, you can't just come to one of my sessions. It's corporate, it's private. So after hearing that a lot, we have now begun to package everything that we've learned in over 25 years to make it easy to use when in bite-sized chunks and put it on a SKOOL platform. So there's this thing called SKOOL, which is a platform for self-instruction. And we're taking now everything that we've done and we're creating these bite-sized chunks so that people can go on, subscribe to it, and have access to public speaking, to how to run a meeting, how to run your relationships, how to manage your thought life, how to use words, how to be productive in adversity and so forth. And all that people need to do now is to be part of that platform and go, man, I really want to learn about public speaking. Well, if you want to learn about public speaking, here's a 30-day challenge that will teach you how you look at the lens or you look at the audience, how to manage body language, how to get engaged, how to get standing ovations, how to get rid of nervousness. 30 days, at the end of 30 days, including how to do lighting and so forth, you're pretty much set. Now,
Huh.
if you're concerned about people not understanding them, you can go over here and do this course on personality types, and you will learn the buttons to push to get people to want to be with you. If you're in sales and you're not good, you go over here and you do persuasion power. It'll teach you how to get yes without having to be pushy and aggressive. So we're actually structured it now as opposed to like a monthly thing in bite-sized chunks. And then on top of that, a couple times a month, I have live sessions where I deal with people personally in a group setting. So it's really exciting because, you can go where your need is, as opposed to me thinking this is what you need for this month.
I have to tell you, Alvin, I'm just sitting here talking with you. I feel energized myself because you do such an incredible job of feeling what you're speaking. And I find myself talking with my hands more, just having the conversation with you, man. This is awesome. It's really incredible. It is the name of your program. Where can,
Actually, yeah, sorry. The program is actually sitting on the SKOOL platform.
okay.
So it's a SKOOL platform is available to anybody. There are lots of content creators who are on it. My particular one is this thing about personal development, professional development, people skills, and so forth. And so I can give you the link and even a QR code for folks to be able to get to that platform and get to my part of it, because there are hundreds of others on SKOOL.
Okay.
But yeah. So I can provide that to you. You can post that for folks to have access to it, but it's a link that folks go to and it'll take them straight into SKOOL. Now, here's the good part. We actually, for your program, we are saying, I put your folks who are interested straight into it for 7 days, unrestricted access to do whatever they want. And then at the end of 7 days, if it's no good for them, they can jump out. If not, they can continue on a paid basis. But I'll provide you with the link. I'll provide you with the QR code, and everybody listening to this broadcast has the ability to go in and explore and work on whatever they want to for 7 days for free.
Wow. That's really awesome. Incredible. I know I'm personally going to jump on there myself. I tell you, man, I've spoken with a lot of folks, and the energy that you bring, man, I can feel it in my heart. I can just feel the passion that you have behind what you're doing. So that's really
Yeah.
incredible.
So Joy, here's the downside of this. In my business, I've come face to face with the fact that there are lots of people in the world who are just desperate and discouraged or feeling, life isn't working. And I don't mean people who are suffering financially only. I'm talking about people who have money who are just not sure that they're right. Look, I was coaching a man who got into conflict with his employees. And this man was at the top of the food chain, senior executive. And when we had broken down the barriers and we had trust between us, he'd tell me things that were going on. And he was wondering, why do people hate me? Why don't they just do what I want? And they don't know that well. You know what he said? I bet it's because I'm ugly.
I get,
I thought, how could this man think he's ugly? Well, when he was growing up, People told him that his skin and his face made him ugly, and his childhood traumas were not resolved up here at the top with money and authority and power. He still
Wow.
had this thing in his head saying he's ugly, and maybe that's why people don't like him. God, never say that again. Man, you're a respectable, handsome looking young man. And there are folks who are interacting with us daily who have these little childhood traumas and things that our friends and our enemies say to us. And even though we're succeeding socioeconomically, we have to succeed in here. Otherwise, we're miserable beings. And so my role is to say, look, when I was a child, I didn't have electricity or running water in my house for a few years. Okay.
Right.
But I was taught something in here that changed me. When you think differently, you be different. And so I am personally passionate about people coming to go, whoa, I'm not an accident. I'm here for a reason. Even if my mama said that I was an accident when she got pregnant, she just didn't know God's plan for my life. And I'm here to kick butt and to climb mountains and take names. When you get that, it's something I call igniting fire in the belly. Sometimes for us as adults, the fire is gone out or is going out. Man, you can't achieve excellence if you're kind of, no, I don't care how bright you are. My role is to give you the content, give you the proof, give you the processes, give you the strategies to set yourself ablaze again with energy. And when you do that, you can begin to live in the moment, begin to feel alive. And when you feel alive, your dreams can be achieved. Otherwise, you don't make a big difference. So you asked me, there's a link. It's like bit.ly.alvin free offer. It's long to remember. I will give that to you. It's bit.ly, capital ALVIN, FREEOFFER. So bit.ly / Alvin Day with a capital A. And that will take you straight into the portal where you will see it, all the things that we have. And every day we're adding more stuff because we have 25 years worth of this stuff that we're disseminating and putting into that place. So over time, it just grows. And I feel great because I've seen people change their minds about suicide.
Wow.
I saw a man in West Palm Beach County Jail. Who told me the last time I was there, I saved somebody's life. I'm going, how did I do that? He said, something you said caused me to change my mind. I was going to kill a man. And when you said it, I called my friends and put off the hit. I'm going, shit, seriously.
Wow.
I saw a woman in not West Palm Beach, a woman in Fort Lauderdale told me that after one of our courses, she doubled her income in 30 days. I don't even know what she did. But I'm not talking about just income. I'm not talking about suicide. I'm not talking about murder. I'm talking about the life and the power of it, the ability to breathe and see the sky. You have everything in raw material that you need. And the question is, what are you going to make out of the raw material? That's where we come in.
That's incredible. And I can tell you, I've been like in my career, I've been surrounded by individuals who are much more academic, who have had tons more schooling, tons more education, tons more degrees, this, that, and the other. And oftentimes, and I'm not saying this for bragging purposes, this is just, I had more passion for what I was doing. So I was able to be more successful at it. And so just, but now that as we're sitting here talking about this, I'm kind of realizing it as we're talking about it. It's not always about who's the most educated or who has the most amount of years or seniority or things like that. It comes down to that passion and that fire in the belly that you're talking about. Man, I love that. That's so inspiring. And man, I'm so happy that you're on here today, man. I'm definitely going to check out your platform, your material on SKOOL, without question.
Yeah. So here, Joey, you're interviewing for somebody to work in your company. And you have two people. You have an A student with no energy, no passion, and you have a B student who is fired and think he can change the world. Who do you hire?
I'm going for the B student. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All day long,
So
that
now,
passion. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, when you're an A student and you have passion, and you got it all. When you're a B student and you have passion, you can hire people who have the AK qualifications. That's how it works.
Yeah.
It says the B students work for, B and C students work for the government. The A students start their own businesses and hire the A students to do what they correct.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's very good. Yeah.
Man, fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed you being on the on Home Brew. And man, thank you so much. You've got me fired up for the day. I'm ready to go take on the world now.
It's good. There is that. And on a very serious note, we are being taught some things that are wrong. Oftentimes, the people are not trying to deceive us. They don't know either. The scientist says that energy cannot be created or destroyed. But they don't know anything about emotional energy. They just know electrical kind of vibrations. We are energy. And like, Joey, you walk into a room, you meet somebody, and the person just deflates you. You know, have you ever had that? You talking to somebody and just takes you down?
Yeah, most definitely.
In a moment, your energy is destroyed.
Yeah, you can see him
So
approaching.
now you're talking about how, you see him approaching and you're like, oh man. And you just go down into
Absolutely.
Here you are talking about the opposite. Here you're talking about the opposite. So we're talking about concepts of life and success, and your energy's up. We just manufactured that energy out of our thoughts, out of the content. So the scientist doesn't know everything. And that's why academia is in trouble. Colleges all across the world are seeing drop in their enrollment with AI, the imagination that created AI. Imagination is a real thing. And the academia is focused too much on facts and figures. Facts and figures come out of imagination. God imagined the world and created it. You imagined your company and created it. And to get that imagination, you have to have this bubbling sense of, oh my gosh, possibility, possibility. And every time you fail, you get up again and you go and you learn something and you fail. This is where fulfillment is. The guys who are depressed, I'm not so sure. Man, you need this spark to get up again and go again, because you know something now that you didn't know before you failed. Let's use it. That's my philosophy. And that's what I teach in corporate. And that's what every entrepreneur needs, not to give up the dream and go back and get a job. You need to understand that life is going to press you and stress you. You want to make big money and have freedom? It's going to see if you're serious. It's going to knock you down. And you got to get up and go, yeah, okay, I know what to do differently, and go and go. Till one day, somebody looks at Joey with JW or in the JW consulting company and go, man, you're so lucky. They don't know what he's been through, but he's had to get up and go every single time. It's that energy that people underestimate because they're only looking at the end result. Now it's your turn to pay the price. What are you going to do?
Wow. So that puts a different perspective. It frames it in another perspective for sure. Powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff.
So very good. Yeah, that sounds good. So we look forward to seeing you in the Global Empowerment Institute platform. And we're starting pretty much right now to the point where the ones who are coming in are like founding members at a very low price and they're grandfathered through. This thing is going to be very expensive over time. We give you 7 days free to see what you like, but this is already an exciting place of self-discovery and excellence and fulfillment and all that great stuff. And so I'm looking forward to seeing you and any members of your team who want to be there.
Man, thank you so much. I honestly didn't know what to expect out of today's podcast, and I'm pleasantly surprised and just filled with energy. I'm filled with energy after this conversation. So thank you so much. That's it for this episode of Home Brew. If it resonated with you or gave you a fresh perspective, share it with someone else who's working hard to make their mark. Subscribe, stay curious, and remember, no matter the challenge, keep pushing forward because success is brewed one step at a time. We'll see you next time. Same place, new story.